Well, good morning, everyone. Once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great day. Good to have you come on with us here. Let's say hello to a few friends as per our usual. Who's number one? Let's see if Brahim makes it number one this morning. He is! Brahim. Everybody wants to know your secret on how you get up to be number one. And Brahim's got 4 coffee cups there. Mary, how are you? Carrie, Nebraska, good morning. And there's Kevin, Oshawa. Kevin, you're not as fast as Brahim anymore. And Donna. And Anna, good morning, Hamner. Fran from Orangeville, good morning. Nick from our stop. Donna, good morning from Park Hill. Deb from Timmins. Wendy, Markham, good morning. Olive, bonjour. Good morning, all. Marilyn, Kelowna. Manette, are all the fires out there in Kelowna? Yolande, bonjour. And Heather from Miramichi. Kadachu, how are you? Marlene, Newfoundland. Wanda, Ridgeway, Ontario. Kathy, good morning, Nova Scotia. Keith, Bell River. Leela. And Diane, Thunder Bay, good morning. Cheryl, how are you? And Jan, good morning. Manitoba. Debbie from Bodley. Where's that? Gary, Bolton. Danny, good morning. And Wanda, Virginia. Steve, Iowa, good morning. And Sandra, Brampton. Eva, Denise, Oakville. Barbara, Huntington Beach. Fran. And Young from Edmonton. Judy, New Brunswick. Darlene, good morning. Tammy, how are you? Out in British Columbia, I think, eh, Tam? Dr. McEwen's on with us. How are you, Doc? Debbie, Shirley in Newfoundland. Jeanette from our staff. And Helen, Lorraine. And a couple more. Victoria, good morning. Jane, how is you? And Christina, good morning. Guys, we love you dearly. Margie, Kathy, Tilmar, Booba, hey, Olive, Timmins, and John. I'm sorry, John, I missed you. Elgin, Illinois, and Nativity, how are you? Ginny, she's got her bone broth. Good for you. I love bone broth. Darlene. And Sonia from Beamsville. Okay, so what we were doing yesterday, this is going to be part 2. Yesterday we talked about Alzheimer's and research that was done years ago on Alzheimer's, when Alzheimer's wasn't as popular as it is today. We talk about it a lot because it's happening a lot. And it's a big, big problem. As I've mentioned to you many times, the number 1 killer in the United Kingdom is Alzheimer's. And number 3 here in North America. Crazy. Crazy amount. And why do we see so much? But anyway, yesterday we talked about 2 physicians, researchers. One was a chemist, actually, wasn't a physician, PhD in chemistry, Linus Pauling. If you don't know that name, he made vitamin C famous. Okay? Not that people didn't know. And I'm talking about the other vitamin C, okay? Ascorbic acid. He made it famous because he talked about the importance of vitamin C, Linus Pauling. And I mentioned to you in the past that Linus Pauling was a genius. He only missed out on vitamins by one letter in the alphabet. He talked about vitamin C, and vitamin D is more important than vitamin C, unless you're talking about the real vitamin C, which is coffee. Isn't that nice? When someone tells you something you enjoy so much, and okay, go for it. Enjoy it. Because we're often telling people, nah, don't eat that stuff or don't drink that stuff. You can drink coffee. It's so good for you. So Linus Pauling, and the other guy was Abram Hoffer, born in Saskatchewan, I believe, in 1917. He passed away, of course, but he was a genius. He was a psychiatrist, light years ahead of his time. He talked about schizophrenia and depression, and he had a metabolic component to it way back when. He founded the Orthomolecular Society and talked about using natural remedies for conditions like depression and schizophrenia and other things like bipolar. He was light years ahead of his time. And I had the privilege of meeting these two gentlemen, and they were smart guys in the Orthomolecular Society, and Linus Pauling giving us a visit in nutrition in the 70s. So I knew all about these guys way back when. So yesterday we covered a few things. So let me just do a quick review. We talked about in what these two men said were causes of Alzheimer's. And here's what they knew, or at least what they postulated. They said this: dehydration. Chronic dehydration is very damaging to the brain. Okay? Very damaging to the brain. Tony Jr. and I talked yesterday, and he was telling me about a study. I can't wait till he writes about it, about migraines, headaches, and the dura mater, which is a sac around your brain. And that, when it is dehydrated, when you're dehydrated, that sac is what creates a headache. But dehydration is very serious, and we went into detail yesterday about that. And then we talked about, secondly, they talked about it, prescription medications. Toxic. Over a period of time, we mentioned a few: statins, cholesterol-lowering medications, diuretics. We talked about the really important sleeping pill, because there's so many people on them. And you know what? I feel sorry for people that don't sleep. I get it. But it's not sleeping, it's sedation. It's different. And you don't get brain repair. Now, they didn't even know about this, these guys. They didn't know about the self-cleaning oven, but they talked about the prescription med intoxication. Okay. Fourthly, they talked about cerebral allergies to food. Imagine that way back then, talking about food intolerances. Okay? So those are four, but they had others. They had others. Chemicals. I mean, these guys are writing back a long time ago. And they're saying a long time ago that chemicals. Guys, you and I live in a toxic soup. We do. Can't get away from it. Let me just see. I think I got this in one of my studies. I just looked at it the other day. And it says, hold on a minute, let me find it. Okay. Oh, here it is. Toxic chemicals found in breast milk of American women. Okay, American moms. A study that I was reading in Environmental Pollution, peer-reviewed study, and they're saying, peer-reviewed, that chemicals are found in breast milk. And what have I been telling you for years? From Mount Everest, the highest point in the world, to babies in the placenta, mummy's breast milk, you're not getting away from it. Chemicals. And they're linked, and this is what this study said, in the study in environmental pollution, linked to learning problems and other brain functions. Okay? Chemicals. So, when we talk about Alzheimer's, it's probably a perfect storm of these things. But then they went on to say, okay, so chemicals, over 100,000 chemicals. We're up over that. And most of them are found in our homes. You're not getting away from it. You can't move to Costa Rica and say, oh, I'll never have another chemical in my life ever come near me. No, and guys, look, do everything you can. I'm on your side, by the way. Okay? Do everything you can to minimize your exposure to chemicals. Okay? From cleaning products, underarm deodorants, air fresheners, hand sanitizers. Be natural as much as you can. But understand this. No perfection. You're not going to be perfect, even if you move to Costa Rica. And the reason I pick on Costa Rica is because I told you the story of a patient that I had that said, I'm moving to Costa Rica. And she thought I was going to give her a high five. And I said, sucks to be the rest of us. And then anyway, I should have been happier for her. But she thought she was going to get away from all the chemicals in the world. You can't. It's in the oceans. It's everywhere. And I'm much bigger. Here's me. I'm much more inclined to protect our planet than I'm worried about climate change. Okay? I'm sorry, but that's just me. Okay, now, here's what they said. Okay, chemicals, heavy metals. We talked about that. Mercury, lead, cadmium, aluminum. Getting up into the brain. Plastics, getting up into the brain. Passing the blood-brain barrier. And they use a carrier. I like that. Just rhymed. How do you get past the blood-brain barrier? You need a carrier. What's the carrier? yeast, fungus, candida. It'll carry heavy metals past the blood-brain barrier into the brain. Someone's got Parkinson's, heavy metals, almost invariably, well established. But MS, fungal, Alzheimer's, there's some fungus involved. Okay? This is what they're saying. This is going back, guys. Okay? Here's another one they said. Chronic nutrient deficiencies. Man, they're smart, those guys. Alzheimer's, chronic nutrient deficiencies. I'm going to ask you, okay, it's a little quiz. What deficiencies are usually prevalent in Alzheimer's and a lot of other things when it comes to the brain? Okay? What deficiencies would there be? Let me see. Okay? Let me see. Vitamin D, Rita. Yes. Patricia. Sandy says B12. Yes. Francis says DHA. Yes. Tammy, low iron. Possible. Yes. Jackie, Wendy. You guys are so smart. You're so smart. Low HDL. Yeah, well, why though? Okay, vitamin D, Anna, B12, Marilyn, my audience. Us and them. Sandy, smart. Carol, smart. And magnesium, yes. Fat. Who said that? I just missed it. I like that. Yes. Deficient in fat. Omega-3. Cholesterol. You guys. Every time, and Mary, yeah, magnesium. Deficiencies. What is deficient in the brain? Judy. Yeah, water. We talked about it yesterday. Cecilia. Honest to God. You guys are unreal. Diane. Claudette. Fat. Yeah, fat. Okay. Now, guys, okay. Yeah. So, Abraham Hoffer, we're talking back, guys. Go back into the 70s and 80s. Abraham Hoffer, when Alzheimer's wasn't even prevalent. We're talking about nutritional deficiencies. And Linus Pauling, nutritional deficiencies. He might have even mentioned vitamin C. I'd have to talk to him about that. Abraham Hoffer was huge on B vitamins. Huge. Treating schizo and bipolar depression with nutrients. Okay? So here's that list. Water. Only water is water. Prescription meds, intoxication, cerebral allergies to food, leaky gut, leaky brain, chemicals, heavy metals, chronic nutrition deficiencies. And now we know more. Today we know more. What didn't they know back then? If Abraham Hoffer was alive today, and Linus Pauling was alive today, he would know more. They would know more than this list. I love the way they think outside the box. And you know, guys, I had the privilege of studying under them. And thinking outside the box. Guys, listen. Nutritional deficiencies. Absolutely right. Vitamin D. The brain needs vitamin D. Your brain don't operate with B12. And by the way, I just say it because you guys know this. I always talk about optimizing these things. It's not a matter, oh, doc, it's my vitamin D is normal. Yeah, that's normal for a mouse. You're not a mouse. My B12, doc, is normal for a mouse. Not for your brain to operate. Not to protect your brain from Alzheimer's. It needs to be optimized. Vitamin D, vitamin B12, brain don't work properly without it. Of course, nothing works properly without those two things. That's why people used to ask me, oh, why are you so focused in on that? Well, I know, but I used to measure it. And 80% or more of the population are low. And doctors don't care about that. They don't. They're not trained. Here's physicians in Alzheimer's. Amyloid plaques. And the summer of 22, that really could be a book on mental health. And Doc McEwen and I are talking about this, writing a book together. And tremendous. On brain. I'll tell you, the summer of 22, when they found out everything that you learned about mental health wasn't true. Alzheimer's? It's not amyloid plaques. Medicine was zeroed in on plaques, amyloid in the brain. And research, when they did all the studies, said, nah, that's not true. And depression and bipolar, they were wrong. These are metabolic disorders. Who knew? But Abraham Hoffer, way back when, was into this. The brain. And, you know, even the gut-brain connection. The more we study the microbiome, the more we realize, like, you got more serotonin, the feel-good hormone in your gut than you have in your brain. Okay, but here's what they didn't know. Okay? I was thinking about this. What didn't they know? Okay? They didn't know about insulin. They didn't know about insulin resistance. They didn't know that. They you know, I would love to talk to them and see how much they knew, but they didn't know much about insulin resistance. And they didn't know much. I'm going to bring out my little ballpoint pen. Okay? Why do I do that? Because that is the size of your pancreas. And little did we know, back in the 70s and 80s, about how significant the pancreas is insulin is metabolically. Okay? And now what we know, okay, what we know about the brain, okay, is the brain is really, really, really sensitive to insulin. We find out that the brain, guys, in 2005, okay, in 2005, it was an important year. They called Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. Researchers discovered that type 3 diabetes, and that's what they called it, that even though you weren't a diabetic, I mean officially, your brain was a diabetic, and that's Alzheimer's. What? That's Alzheimer's. In 2005. Listen, guys, I had a radio show in those days. And of course, you know me, I'm always reading studies. And I used to have a service that would send me studies. And any new study that came out, I got it. And I remember reading this study on Alzheimer's. Holy moly. It became a big topic on my radio show. Type 3 diabetes. And then, within less than a year, I kept waiting for it to hit the news. They buried it. They buried it. And so it never got into the craw of medical school. It never got into the thinking of physicians. Because they don't read. Not all of them. Most of them, they don't. They toe the party line. Alzheimer's is amyloid plaques, and we're looking for medication to control that. And that was, by the way, and still is, a colossal failure. It's done nothing. Why? Because they're looking for love in all the wrong places. If amyloid plaques are there, why are they there? I'm going to tell you why. The biggest reason is because of insulin. Your brain, here's a carbohydrate. Here's 93% of the population. Their brains are swimming in an ocean of glucose. It's like swimming in an ocean. You're swimming in it, but you can't drink the water. You ever been to an ocean? Do you drink ocean water? It's all around me. How could I even go dehydrated? I'm on the Atlantic. Just, scoop up the water and drink it. Nah, you can't do that. And it's the same thing for your brain. Okay? It's the same thing for your brain. It's the wrong fuel for your brain. You burn your brain. Look, if you eat glucose, if you have sugars, crappy carbohydrates, Carbs, bread, pasta, rice, cereal, sugar, sweets, pastry. I get the list. Muffins, bagels, whatever. I don't care. It's all going to be sugar rapidly. Oh, Dr. Martin, it's Tropicana. I don't care. It's going to be sugar so fast. It's just straight sugar. And your brain swims in the wrong fuel. Abraham Hoffer did not know that. You know, guys, I say this to you all the time. Science is never settled. Science is observation and repetition. Right? Yeah. They didn't know it. Linus Pauling didn't know it. Or they would have had it on their list here. Oh, but one thing about Abraham Hoffer, he didn't like sugar for the brain. He didn't like it. But he didn't know about insulin resistance. Your pancreas makes insulin. Do you know that your brain makes insulin? Sugar left unattended, you're in trouble. And this is why I just had a little pause there. Why? Who knows? I'm always telling you, okay? Change fuels. Alzheimer's, type 3 diabetes. It's diabetes of the brain. It's the major factor. And think about it, it's the one thing you can control. But even today, I will read today. I'm not a prophet nor the son of one, but I'm going to tell you what I'll read today. Don't eat red meat. Harmful. Don't eat too many eggs. Harmful. Don't eat cheese. Harmful. I'll read it somewhere today. The propaganda never ends. They're keeping people carboholics. Fat, that's bad. Bad for your arteries. Bad for your brain. Bad. No, it's not. Well, bad fats is. But they don't tell you that. Your brain cells, especially in the hippocampus, is hypersensitive to insulin. It has insulin receptors. Hypersensitive. But you don't want to develop insulin resistance in the brain, because that's what happens. Your brain goes, enough already. Enough already. I'm already swimming in the ocean of glucose, but I can't use it properly as fuel. Your brain is looking for ketones. When you eat a piece of steak, your brain goes, hey, Susie, let me give you a high five. Thank you for eating some red meat. I'm going to give you a high five. Because you know why? Now we won't need insulin to come around, that pesky neighbor that's always around. You ate the right food. You ate the right fuel. Your brain says, thank you. I like ketones more than glucose. Who knew? You guys know. Us and them. Us and them. Yep. Us and them. The brain, insulin signaling shuts down. Too much over the period of time. Squirt, 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 insulin all the time. Frequent eating, the wrong fuel. Guys, I know that sounds simplistic, but it's the facts. Give me only facts, ma'am. Give me only facts. It's the most, can I say this? The most urgent health crisis of our time. We're eating the wrong food. Your brain knows better. It knows better. But the brain is held captive to what you eat. And you guys are going to be under a lot of pressure. Just understand that. You're going to get pressure every day from the world out there, from your friends and your family to conform. Okay? They want you to conform. I want you to be transformed, not conformed. Transform. Change fuels. Am I right about this? 100%. And you get these studies, if you're bothered to look. Like I said, in 2005, Alzheimer's is primarily diabetes of the brain. And it starts with insulin resistance. Okay, guys. Did you have fun? I get excited, I know. I can't help it. I'm very excited about our audience. Okay? And I don't know how many times I got to tell you how much I love you guys. Okay? But never stop. I'll never stop telling you I love you. Okay? Even if you disagree with me, still love you. But we're right. We are right. Them, no. Okay, guys. We love you. We'll talk to you soon.